Hey guys, today we are going to talk about slope and what slope is and how to find the slope of a line. So first we're going to go over some notes that explain some important things. So slope is the constant rate of change between any 2 points on a line. Slope measures the steepness of a line. The bigger the slope, the steeper the line. So the higher the slope is, the steeper the line. The smaller the slope is, the flatter the line. The line will be more flat, so kind of like this. Slope is represented by the number m. So when you see m, that represents slope. Now, we've posted a video for you guys to watch called Slope Dude. Go and watch it if you haven't already done so. It explains some very important things. So, in the video, it says when Slope Dude is going up the mountain, it's puff, puff, positive. So this is a positive slope. When he's going down the mountain, he says, nice, negative, nice, negative. This is a negative slope when a line is going down. Then when he gets to the flat part, the horizontal line, the horizontal line, he says, this is zero fun. Zero fun. So the slope of this line is 0, and this is a horizontal line. Then he gets to the edge of the cliff and he falls off. And he yells, undefined. And undefined is a vertical line. So this is vertical. So anytime you're not sure, think about Slope Dude and his adventures going up the mountain, down the mountain, and then falling off the cliff. All right, so here's the next part. It says, how do you calculate slope? So this is very important. Slope is calculated by the change in y values over the change in x values. It's always the change in y over the change in x. And that's a lot to say. So this symbol right here represents the change in. So if you see this symbol, that's what that means, so that you don't have to write all those words out. So again, guys, slope is the change in y over, so there's a line there, the change in x. And what this is the change in your y values is the vertical change. How much that line is changing vertically. The change in the x values is the horizontal change. And again, a shorter way to write this, so that we don't have to write the change in, we write it as m equals the change in y over the change in x. Again, this is your vertical change, and this is your horizontal change. So that's how we calculate it. When we're looking at a graph, let's say we were looking at this graph right here. We can look at this line and we can identify that it has a positive slope. His slope dude would be going up the mountain here. So it's a positive slope, and when you have a positive slope, how you find what the slope is, slope equals the rise over the run. So you calculate how many units up, that's your vertical change, and how many units to the right, that is your horizontal change. So when the slope is positive, you do rise over run. So when you're rising, you're going up. When you're running, you're going to the right. And again, that is for a positive slope. So if we look at this line here, we already have 2 points identified, and these are whole numbers here. They're going directly through the corners. If we look, remember, this right here is the center, that's 0. And then if we go over 2, this is 2, 0, would be the ordered pair for this. And if we wanted to write the ordered pair for this point, we would go over 0 and down 1, 2, 3 units. Just so you guys see what the ordered pairs are there. So let's go ahead and calculate the slope of this line here. We know it's positive, so we're gonna calculate the rise over the run. So how many units up do we have to go to get to that next point? We're going up 1, 2, 3 units. So that's positive 3. Then how many units over are we going to the right? That's our run. That's our horizontal change. We're going over 1, 2. And to write this, you always do the change in Y, so your vertical change over the change in X, your horizontal change. How many units over we went? So change in Y over the change in X. The change in our Y values, we went up 3 units. The change in our X values, we went over 2 units. So the slope of this line is 3 over 2. Now, if we have a negative slope, we can see that this is going down, this line is going down, so slope dude would be going down the mountain. So that's nice, negative, nice, negative. When it is a negative slope, you would calculate the sink over the swim. So if you're sinking, you're going down. This is a negative slope, this line is going down. So again, that sink represents the vertical change. And the swim represents your horizontal change. So it's always the change in Y over the change in X. Y values are vertical, X values are horizontal. So when the slope is negative, you would calculate the sink, which means you have to go down to get to your next point, and the swim, which means you have to go right. And again, this is a negative slope. So if we look at our graph, we already have 2 points identified. We're going to calculate the sink and swim, so our slope of this line. How many units down and how many units right to get to our next point. So I am going 1 unit down. So the slope, or the vertical change, is we're going down 1. So that's -1. And then how many units to the right are we going? We're going 1, 2, 3. That's a +3. Now we take that information that we just found and we write it as the change in y over the change in x. So the change in my y values here, my vertical change is -1 over the change in my x values. My horizontal change was 3. And that is how you calculate the slope of a positive line and a negative line. I'm going to do just a couple more examples for you guys. 2 more examples. Okay. Again, we're using everything that we just went over. So I just put a couple steps on here for you guys. So it says, how do you find the slope between 2 points on a graph? Calculating the rise over the run or the sink over the swim. Remember, rise over run is for a positive slope. Sink over swim is for a negative slope. So you do this by first you need to identify 2 points on the line. So you're looking for whole numbers, where the corners of the squares intersect. You want positive integers here. All right, so if I'm looking at this graph right here, I need to find positive integers. So where the line intersects the corners of the squares. So I'm just going to start sliding down until I see where it's intersecting, right in the middle. So there's 1 point. And there's another point. So now I have 2 points. Now I can calculate the slope of this line because I have 2 points. Remember, you can calculate the slope with any 2 points. Find the change in y values over the change in x values. If we look at this graph, we can see the line is going down. So that means that this is a negative slope. So I'm going to write negative slope. So that means I need to look for the sink and swim. So I'm going to count how many units down the sink. We're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we went 5 units down. That's -5. Anytime you're going down, it's negative. Then we're going to count how many units to the right. 1, 2, 3. That's our swim. We went over 3 units. Now we write that. Change in y over the change in x. The change in my y values, my vertical change here was -5 over my horizontal change in x values was 3. We went 3 units to the right. And that is our slope. Sliding on over. If we look at this line, we can just look at it and see this is a positive slope. Slope dude would be going up the mountain here. So this is a positive slope. So when the slope is positive, we need to calculate the rise over the run. We're going up and right to get to our next point. First, I need to find 2 points on this line. So I am going to look for where they intersect the corners. So if I look right here, this is intersecting all 4 corners. Now I need to find another point. Hey, look, there's a point right there. I can use that point. Now, if you found a different point, say you found a point over here, you can still calculate the slope of that line. You will still get the same thing. You'll just need to simplify. And I can show you what I mean. So let's calculate our slope here. Remember, it's positive, so it's rise and then run, up and then right. So from one point to the next, we're going up 1 unit, so that's a +1, and then we're going over 2 units. So the slope here, the change in y over the change in x, so the change in my y values was a +1. The change in my x values, my horizontal movement, was 2. The slope of this line is 1/2. Now, what if I didn't see this point right here? What if I use this point right here? We will get the same slope. We'll just have to do a little bit of simplifying. So let me show you guys. So we're gonna go from this point here to this point. So I'm gonna count how many units up. This time I'm going up 1, 2 units. And I'm gonna write that with this, 2. So we went up 2. And then we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4. Over 4. So from this point to this point, if I use those 2 points to calculate my slope, my vertical change in y values is 2 over my horizontal change was 4. I get 2 over 4, and that can be simplified. 2 goes into itself 1 time. 2 goes into 4 2 times. And it is the same. Our slope is the same. Just had to do some simplifying because those points were further away. So always double check and see if you need to simplify first. If the points are further away and there's points in between, that means you'll have to simplify. Okay guys, I hope that this video helped. I will post a picture of the notes on the classroom webpage. Have a good day. Bye.